Hi, I'm Darren Murphy. Welcome to another episode of FVTV. I'm here tonight with father and son, Jaze Kabia. Jaze, welcome to the show. And Jason Kabia, good buddy of mine. Just before we start there, I just want to say, you gave me my start in football, and, do you remember it?
20 years ago, lots happened in 20 years. No, I don't remember it. I remember we were at Cove together. I was just finishing, you were just starting. I was only just telling Jaze on the way up here, and that's where we met, and you were a young lad, you taking your first steps in a footballing career, and I was an old man taking my last ones and deciding what to do.
Yeah, look, it was me starting at Cove, and basically what happened is we played the first team in a game, and I was marking you, and you said to Dave Hill, who was the manager at the time after, that centre half, he was aggressive, get him up to the seniors. And that gave me my kickstart. And it's so important for players and managers out there, again, to push players and see the talent that they have. Like, Jaze, you're quite young there, and you're starting your career at Cove Ramblers, and how are you finding that?
Yeah, it's been very good so far. Just getting into the first team, I still eligible for another 2 years at under 19 level, so with the gaffer bringing me up to the first team, it's been a great opportunity for me.
It's a good thing that he's got a father as well who's knows the game and knows how tough it is and everything he's going to face. It's a massive advantage for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've seen both sides of the coin, and going back to the point you said before, I think it's important that older players, senior players, and people who've been in the game help the young lads. You're doing it even by doing this show, but pass on advice. And he's been lucky at the club. Well, he's not been lucky. He's got some good players around him, some good pros who have been at that level for a little while, and people like Shane who have just come back, who've been in England, been at Liverpool, been at Ipswich. They've took him under their wing and they're passing on good advice to him, and it's good that pros do that, senior pros.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Do you take on board the advice of the coaches?
Oh yeah, big time. Every little bit of advice that's going to help me get to where I want to be, I'm going to take it on board.
And just on that, where do you want to be?
My goal is to play at the top level in England, but fingers crossed I can get there soon.
Fair play. Remember when we used to always have those dreams?
I still have them dreams. I still have the dreams I'm playing football.
They kind of go away. Sometimes you go for a jog and you're thinking, maybe there's a way back.
Yeah, I can do this. I can get up this hill. I'll put a bit in here, but no, there's nothing in the tank anymore. Legs are gone.
Did you ever look at coaching or managing yourself?
Yeah, I had a little flutter. Obviously, helped Dave a little bit at Cove, and then went to Mallow United. I had 2 years down there in Munster Senior League. And then in England, I had a little go at it again. I went with Sutton United, managed them for 6 months, which was that was a terrible. Lost my first 8 games as manager, so that didn't go well. But then we
it was the players.
Yeah, we turned the corner after them 8 games, and we won 4 on the bounce. So I packed in after that. I thought, that's it. I've turned the corner now. Work commitments were making it very difficult. They were a non-league team, and as you know, part-time and working, it's a big commitment, especially in the UK. With the leagues are a bit bigger and you're a bit more stretched, and journey times are a lot further for little reward and little money. So look, I tried it, I flirted with it. It's a poor second to play in, but it's it's not for everyone, and for me, I think it didn't really work out. I tried it.
Yeah, look, I think that kind of level, you are like chucking the dice. Depends on what players you get, what their jobs are, again, how committed they are to the cause, and that's a huge thing. If you're putting your kind of coach and managing career on the line, it's hard when you get into that kind of situation. But if you do well, you will fly up the leagues faster.
And money's a big thing at that level. We played teams around Sheffield here, Paramount, and some other teams. They were playing at the Don Valley Stadium where Rotherham were playing at the time. And they're paying players 100, 200 a week, and I've got lads on £50, and you can't compete with investment like that. If they put money into the clubs, which a lot of them lower league, non-league teams do, and people invest in them, and it's just hard to compete,
You were saying Mal United here, they're actually a decent setup. But what schoolboy clubs did you come through?
I started off with College Corinthians, but I finished with Doug's Hall, and then I went straight to Cove.
Oh, very good. So, like, did you play in any like national cups or anything? Or
Oh yeah,
league wins or?
yeah. We won 3 leagues on the banks for Corinthians, and then things didn't really work out, so I moved to Doug's Hall, and I learned a lot there at Doug's Hall. We won a few cups and stuff like that, but overall, like, they brought me on to where I wanted to be, which was Cove, and now better things, obviously.
Again, as a footballer, you want to play like at the highest level. And look, I know your dad, and I've been speaking to him, and he says you're a really committed young fella, and you know, Hendo has great words to say about you as well. And as you were saying, like, you know, it is tough. We've been there. Like when you first came to Ireland, I didn't know much about that. You came to Cork City that time. So where did you come from, and how did you find it around that time, like coming to Cork, coming into that team?
Yeah, it was a good move for me actually. I was playing in Finland before I came here, and just by chance, I mean, I'd had a career in the UK. I'd been at Lincoln City and Doncaster Rovers, and flirted around some non-league clubs before that, Stafford Rangers and a few other clubs, Ilkeston Town. But I was playing in Finland and bumped into Dave Hill in a shopping centre, and Dave said to me, he said, "What are you doing, Caves?" I says, "Oh, I'm up in Finland playing." He says, "Do you fancy?" He says, "We need a striker in Ireland. Do you fancy coming to Ireland?" I was like, "Well, it's a lot closer than Finland, you know, and a bit warmer as well, believe it or not." And 2 weeks later, I'm on a plane and I'm in Cork. Now, Cork City were a much different creature to what it is now. We were training at the side of the lock, down the farm in muddy rugby pitches, and you know, it were a different animal. They'd just been bought and taken over by a couple of new investors, and there were only 3 professionals: me, Dave, and Colin O'Brien. And we were training every day with Mick Conroy down at the farm, and Paul Bannon, and there were young lads then at the time, you know, coming through, you know, Colin Neely's and all of them, and Miller. They just skipped through as we all came in. They'd been on that course. And Damien Delaney was there at the time, and I mean, it's 20 years later, Damien's finishing his career now. He was a young boy then, just coming up. Alan Bennett was there. So it was different times. It was good fun. It was quite relaxed. I don't think they were as professional as they are now, you know. So it were good times. Cork was a different city then, and it's changed a lot in 20 years. But in general, it was a good move for me at the time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know, and look, you had some great spells, and I always remember you as a top pro at Cove. I mean, you brought like us young lads into the game, and as well, you know, you gave us the hard advice that we needed, you know, at the time, and as well, like, you were a good coach. Like, I remember the coaching from you. You always pull us aside as well, give us advice, and you're a good player as well. So, you know, you've a lot to live up to. But do you remember your dad playing?
Nah.
Never?
Nah.
Jesus. You never saw him, you were too young, were you?
I was too young, right, but I seen a few clips, but I don't remember.
Is there anything that you'd be thinking you have to live up to Cove? Because you've an uncle as well that play with Cove, Decky.
Yeah, Decky, and as well as Stephen Deasy, yeah, so
you're next in line.
yeah.
Were you over at the UK? Were you on trial?
Yeah, when I was 15, I was over with Nottingham Forest, but not much since.
Yeah, and how did you find that going over as a 15-year-old kid? I mean, it's quite daunting.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they were leaps and bounds ahead of me, but I felt technically I was definitely up to their standard, but physically they were much bigger, like, as in the size of me now, like, they were that when they were 15.
Yeah, I found the same when I went over as a kid. Like, they were much bigger, they were stronger, they were faster, they were fitter, you know, and they're doing it. They're in academies at 8 or 9, probably doing what you're doing now at Cove, you know, with the weights and stuff like that. They'll bring in small little bits and they'll build them up. But what did you do? Like, how many days were you over there for? Did you train every day?
Yeah, over there for like a week. We trained, every day, I'm sure, and we played a game as well. Just there was a lot of technical stuff involved, like, which suited me. It was more like the physical side that kind of let me down more than anything. But I'm technically, definitely, that's what I'd be most like confident about in my game. Like, give it to my feet, I'll take a player on, I'll go past them. Like, but if it turns into a physical battle, like, it wouldn't be my style to play.
Well, look, you got to have a style of play. Obviously, that's an advantage. But again, you know, you're in the League of Ireland, and you have to get bigger and you have to get stronger. And what age are you now? 15?
18 now.
18. You were 15 when you were over. You're 18 now. So, like, are you putting a plan in place to get in the gym and get stronger?
Yeah, like, I've learned a lot this year. Like, most of my joys come because my creating space, etc. Like, just being clever on the ball, like, not getting close to people, like, just finding pockets, playing in pockets, getting wide, like, just 1-2 link up plays, just all that stuff, and it's just helped massively. Yeah, we've 2 new strength and conditioning coaches as well who've just come in with us this season, Mikey and Brad's, and they've sent me a program to help me now in the off season as well. So
yeah, and I know the 2 lads, and they are really good, and you should take on board everything. And again, any advice, like, Cabes would be the same: get bigger, get fitter, get stronger. It can't not help.
Yeah, different times when I played, obviously they were still big and strong, but there's a lot more emphasis in that part of the game now, and working on that, and nutrition as well, and diet and stuff. So look, he's working hard on that. He's down the gym most days, and I mean, we knew we were going to grow at some stage, because he was always a small, and I knew he wouldn't get left behind. It happened to me, it happened to my brothers. We were kind of late developers, it's in our genetics, so we knew he'd be all right. And he's going to get bigger, and then he'll have the same problem as me, then trying to keep it off, then just keeping it off the hard part.
But we were saying to him, let us be, you know, the ghost of Christmas past to you, like, you know. We were saying we were good footballers, but no, we're unreal on a hammer and a saw.
Yeah, fantastic on a saw. You don't need a warm up in the morning for that, do you? Or a hammer, nail gun as well. I'm good on that.
Got them all. Anything with a battery as well. We take the batteries. But yeah, just on that point, on past experiences, did you ever kind of nearly make it into a big club, or, you know, at your younger age?
Well, no, not at a younger age. I kind of got left behind again, because things were different then, and scouting systems and whatever in the 80s, we're all different. And got an opportunity to go to Chesterfield at 16 on a YTS, 25 quid a week, big money, you know, and that didn't materialise, didn't settle into that. So I went working on the building sites, and then, long story short, you get a chance, I was playing non-league, got a chance to go and play, and got a trial at Lincoln City, got signed. Had a great first season, and our manager, Steve Thompson, at the time, was good friends with Lenny Lawrence, who was a Middlesbrough manager at the time, and they had a proper squad then. They had the Brazilians in there, Janino and all of them. And unbeknown to me, I scored against them pre-season. I had a move nailed on. I was going to be the next one out the door, but unfortunately snapped my cruciate, and that's it, you know, and things changed. I didn't know that at the time, but speaking to Grant Brown, who was on the coaching staff at Lincoln now, he says, Cabes, he says, you never knew that. He said, they were in for you. He said, you were gone. He said, you'd scored against them pre-season, and they were taking you to Middlesbrough. But look, that's football, and you know that. That's the twist and turns. But that was my chance, probably, to play at a higher level. So then you just get stuck trawling around the lower divisions and trying to eke a living.
Yeah, it's tough, like, isn't it? Like, as you said, those minor differences, you know, they're huge in lads' careers. And again, the mental side of it then, to get yourself back into it. So, like, would you have a strong mentality that kind of way?
Yeah.
Have you had any injuries yet? No.
No, I haven't had any serious injuries, but I mentally I feel I am strong enough, because I believe in myself, which is something you really need to do. Like, because if you don't believe in yourself, then what hope have you got?
I know, you've got belief and you've got confidence. My thing is that you said, like, you know, you want to play at the top level in England, and that's so many players. It's all, you know, let's get to England. Like, and do you realise that there is other opportunities out there for you, like in America or Australia?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've considered all them kind of things, and just with I have my leaving cert now this year, so hopefully do good in that, and then more opportunities will rise as well.
Yeah, like we were saying, make sure and get a good result in your leaving.
Get your leaving cert. He got some good advice. He's had some good mentoring. People like Dominic Foley and people like that. He spent a bit of time with him, and Dominic told him the exact same advice. Get your leaving cert, get your education. It's really important. But on a funny thing there, you were just saying about his mentality. Stephen Henderson will probably tell you, last week we had to do a video for him before they went away. A little surprise, they were going to watch it at breakfast time. Wishing them all well and good luck. And me and his mum dressed up like she dressed up like Stephen Henderson, and I pretended to be Stuart Ashton. And Leslie Henderson said they've just watched the video, and Jaze stood up after the video and went straight to see the psychologist. Walked out the door.
It's lucky they had a psychologist.
Yes. Embarrassing parents.
It didn't embarrass you that much, though.
It was alright. There was ones just as bad.
Was there? Very good. Yeah. So, like, was there any questions on the Facebook, Jamie, for the two lads?
There's none at the moment.
Okay.
That's good.
You're still at it all these years later. Yeah, but again, like, would you give him much advice? Like, would you be kind of over advising him, or?
I think you can do too much. I helped him a lot when he was younger, and it gets to a point when I can't take him any further as a father, and that's when he's got great coaches in Stuart Ashton and Stephen Henderson, and you know they are two of the best coaches in the area, and there comes a point where you just have to leave him off, let him do his own thing. I've never been a pushy parent. I know how difficult football is, and I know what you were saying there. There's other options, universities and things like that. And we're realistic enough to know that, and I know what football's like. It's not it's not all the glitz and glamour. You see, there's a lot of hard work goes into it, and a lot of down times, and sad times, and difficult times when you're on your own playing somewhere. So I know it's not all it's cut out to be. The rewards can be great, but you know, if you're playing lower divisions and you're just picking up a wage, you can be here doing that. You can be earning more if you've got a good education. So we're realistic enough to know it's not to put all his eggs in one basket, you know, and I give him that advice, you know. You don't listen to me anymore.
Now we'll hear the true version. Does he wreck your head at times?
Nah, he's alright. He's alright.
But like I think it's a huge advantage, like having a father that's involved in football and saw the bad stuff, because so many kids see just the good stuff, and they see the Ronaldos and see the money, and they see the Range Rovers, and they see, you know, playing on the best pitches, you know, like you've had a good what's the word I'm looking for, introduction to like football there now with the League of Ireland First Division.
Yeah.
Did you find it tough physically?
Yeah, physically it is tough, alright. Like, it does wear and tear on your body over the season, like, but like, as I said earlier, like, it's just such a good experience to get a few, like, I started a good few games. At the start of the season, I didn't, if someone told me that I was going to be playing first team League of Ireland last season, I wouldn't have believed them, but it's just been a great experience this season for me, I feel, and I've personally, as a player, just grown so much.
Yeah, and you've got, like, as we were saying before, you've got like a 6-month layoff now. Yeah. So again, you're doing your leaving cert, but like, what's your plans for your training?
I'll tip away on my own training, right? I might get on to a few lads at Doug's Hall, see if I can get in a few sessions with them during the week. But just for the next month or two, I'm just going to sit back and have a break, because it's a long season.
Just enjoy it. Was he golfing?
Golfing.
You any good at golf?
Yeah, I'm right.
Next Tiger Woods. Do you golf?
Badly, yeah. Yeah, very bad. It's that very bad. We did we played in the Cove. They had a charity day there, and we played in that. And they keep telling me I've got one of them belly putters that come. They keep telling me it's illegal, but I'm still using it, and no one stopped me.
I don't know if it's illegal or not, but so this isn't your first media spell, as you were telling me before. You used to do like something quite similar to this with Trevor Welch and
It was Sandra Doyle. She used to in Irish multi-channel. Probably you were all young lads at the time, but 20 years ago, yeah, they used to have a show down there at the multi-channel studios Friday night. Friday night, you'd get Mick Conroy'd come on there. We need subtitles for when he spoke, and Paul Cashman had come on from Cashman's Bookmakers, and he'd give odds on things, and it was like a football show. We'd film it in the mornings. We'd leave. We'd start about 10 o'clock. We'd do a little, much like this. We'd sit in a room and we'd have editors would prep us before and give us the questions, and we'd film it. It were recorded, and then they'd take us out for food afterwards, which usually with Trevor involved a load of beer as well. And we'd get home at 6 o'clock. It'd be on the telly, and it was good. I enjoyed it. It's a good introduction to media and stuff like that if you wanted to pursue that career. And every week we'd have someone different on. Noel Spillane and some of the Cork City players would come on. It'd be good, yeah. Yeah,
I think it's good to do it. And as I was saying to two lads there, going to keep doing it as much as we can. Just getting to know people's stories, what they're thinking. I mean, again, father and son here, how many fathers and sons are out there? With lads coming through football. We actually had the refs on there last week, and they made a couple of good points about parents at games and shouting and stuff. And have you experienced that as a kid, schoolwise?
Yeah, there's been a few schoolwise games where there's just been riots, like parents going mad. It's like tight games, like National Cup games and stuff. Like there'll be a penalty and the refs be getting abused, and it's not on really, is it? As a player who played in those games quite recently, because none of us can remember being that age. Let's be honest. How did you feel? How did you feel towards it? I'm in my one that just comes straight to mind when we talk about this is we played Temple in the National Cup quarter final up in Temple, and packed low everyone around the pitch. There's a good couple of hundred people there. Anyway, it was 4-4, and the game was just, the parents were going mad. There was a penalty last kick of the game, and parents were running on the pitch up to the referee, rioting, just everyone shouting, screaming, parents fighting, everything, and it's just mad,
as a player, did you feel why are they doing this?
No, I understood, because probably they just thought the referees made a bad decision, but it tends to happen in the kind of more important games when the games are tight and big decisions are made. That's when it tends to happen most. When
there's something on the line, but do you think it's wrong,
Yeah, it's definitely not right. Can't be, especially this was at the age of 14, and it was just, I was young at the time, and just, it still sticks in my memory to today,
Does it put pressure on you in the game when you were playing?
I tried to black it out, but it does a bit, yeah, alright.
Yeah, it's just saying, I've seen it, and you must have seen it,
I was at that game, and they ran on the pitch. The parents ran on the pitch and actually stopped the game. The game was stopped, and while the game was stopped, another incident happened. It was a strange game. And I don't know what James remembers about. I think you had a penalty, didn't you, at the end? I think.
And after all this madness, I had to take a penalty, and I hit the post, and it went to extra time, but I don't know. It's just mad,
There you go. And just the small thing about that, could never happen, but you've got all the parents there screaming and roaring. It's put pressure on the kid who's under 14s at the time, to miss a penalty and hit the post. That could be the difference in a road going up, to him, not succeeding. And people might laugh at it, but the mentality in football, that's kind of small bit of what it's about, and it could be a difference. But obviously, he's strong enough and he realises it. But
yeah, it was small margins like that. But it's not. Listen, we said it was Temple. Temple are a good club with lots of good people involved in them. It was just that particular group at that particular time. There was a small bad element in there, which I think Temple they got rid of that group. That team disbanded, didn't it? That team disbanded. So it wasn't Temple United as a whole. because we know that club's got a lot of good, and we've got.
I don't think it's just any one club. Like, it just happens. It just happens. In
Yeah.
places, like, and like, it's just speaking on the refs again. Like, and you being a past player, when you started coaching, like, and you're doing the drills with the lads, like, did you kind of get a new respect for referees?
Well, in fairness,
They're always
yeah. In fairness, I did the referee's course and I failed it, so I do appreciate it. That's embarrassing.
You did not.
I did. I failed the rest exam when I did my prelim in the UK, and I think that was about '96. So I have a respect for referees now, and
They just don't respect you after failing.
that's right. They have no respect for me now. But it's difficult. It's difficult what they do. And I had one particular manager, a good friend of mine and a mentor to me, Keith Alexander. And in training, he used to give bad decisions all the time to get us used to it. You know, so you wouldn't be arguing. You'd be like, "Don't argue, just get on with it." You know, you'd kick it out, and he'd go that way. They'd kick it out and give it to you, and he'd make bad decisions. So you conditioned yourself just that they're going to make bad decisions. It's a bit of reverse psychology, I know, but you know what managers are like in the UK. They try all kinds of things.
But I'd be the same thought. My managers in the UK did it with me, and there's one thing I picked up off them, and I actually did it and I tried it out. And if there's managers and coaches out there, if you're talking about players and they don't take advice on board and they're not listening, right? And there's a lot of times you might do certain drills and stuff like that, and you'd be thinking, you know, you might tell the left back, right, go out to the line, and then you're doing the drill and he doesn't go to the line. And you're saying, what's going on? But I always do a test then to see. And it's like they want to just take on board what they want, because if you're in a game, right, and the game is like 1-1, and you turn around and you say 2-1, they're all chirping up straight away. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. You know, and you're like, why didn't you take that on board? Like,
When I was trying to give you some advice, yeah, players, you know, they make the game very difficult, don't they, players? It's an easy game, but players make it difficult. But you do have players like that who are, and I've seen them myself, who are conditioned to like robots, and they just go through, I get the ball, I open up, I knock it in there, and they can't react to, you shout something to them and they don't react. Oh, because their mind's already made up. And, you know, good coaches can iron that out of players, but it takes conditioning.
yeah, and as I said, like, there's a lot of work goes into like coaching during the week, and you know, doing as much as you can. And how you find it down in Cove? I mean, you reached the Sports Cup final. That was huge ambition for you.
Yeah, massive. Like, I think everyone this season has took on board what the coaches have said, and it's benefited us all massively. I don't think our league form has done us any favours. I don't think with the quality we have in the team we deserve to finish there, but it's just we weren't consistent enough this season. But we showed in the cup what we can do. Like, we beat Dundalk, the leader, who probably go on now to win the Premier Division, like, and we beat them at home 1-0. So it just goes to show, like, we have some serious quality in the team.
And just saying that, yeah, I was having a chat with a guy a while ago just about that. That was a tough league this year, wasn't it? Tough league, like.
Well, if you'd have asked me at the end of the season before, I'd have said Cove were favourites. But then when you look at teams that were there, where you've got Finn Harps and Drogheda, they came into the equation and they had good money to spend, which always makes a massive difference in the League of Ireland. Drogheda can attract the players who are skirting around the fringes, you know, with your Bows, your Shells and all of these clubs. So it was always going to be difficult. And they lost a few key players to Limerick and to Waterford. So that weakened them a little bit as well. And the team that finished the season was not the team that started the season. If they could have kept that group together that started the season, I think they would have done better in the league. I'm not saying they would have won it, but they would have done better in the league. But I tell Jaze this as well. It's a changing environment all the time, a football team. Your team you start with at the start of the season is not going to be the team you finish with at the end. It changes, and you've got to make sure that you're part of that team all the way through the season, because there's always somebody there. I mean, next year there'll be other players coming through. 19s are coming through. They're going to be after shirts. So you've got to, you know, keep improving, and which Cove will do, and hopefully keep that body of players together. They'll have a better chance next season.
Yeah, and do you realise that, like, competition in the team, there's always someone nipping at your heels? So you're probably nipping at someone's heels there now at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, he's trained me well enough to know, just even in training, just train how you play, like, and hopefully then just keep your shirt. Like, once you get a chance, like, if you get a chance and it's not your shirt, make it yours.
That's a simple equation, Caves, and it's, you know, like, stay away from women.
Stay away
from women. Stay away from drink. And twice as well, stay away from drink.
Yeah.
And then just train hard, and there you go.
It's easy. You know, it's easy. You know yourself. You've been in them dressing rooms in the UK, and people have got the Range Rover. They're 27, 28. They've got the Range Rover, the Mach 2, the mansion. They'll shake hands with you and welcome you into that dressing room, but they're not giving you their shirt, losing that contract, you know, to a young lad.
That's the one difference between here and the UK, and that's why I say it's not for everyone. It's not for a lot of Irish lads, because a lot of Irish dressing rooms, you know, it's nice. They're all, you know, shaking hands, and, you know, they're all friends mostly, like, you know. And you go to the UK and it's dog eat dog, and as he said, they'll shake your hand, but they're not giving up their jersey, you know, and that's something you need to realise as well. But you're right there. It's like I thought when I first went over, you know, like, it was kind of welcoming, and then I got a big, you know, surprise, like kicking the arse, and you're like, oh, I have to fucking earn my respect here, like, you know.
To get his jersey, you got to fight for that jersey, you know. It really is dog eat dog. No, it's probably different at the top level of Premier League. I've not played, and you watch the shows like the one now with Pep Guardiola, and when they get to that level, I suppose it's about building a unity in the team. But obviously, Division 1, Division 2, bottom of the Championship, you're fighting to get someone's shirt, and it's
survival of the fittest, like. And it's like, you know, there's a rotator cuff of football players, like, you know, or a spinning wheel, you know, like, if one get injured, next guy's in, and you're just there at the back, like. So, got all ahead of you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, I have a few friends now that are over in England playing football, like Adam O'Reilly, Jadoze, who's gone over recently. Like, they're all friends of mine, like, and I'm very good friends with Adam and he always be sending me stories and stuff, like, that it looks squally, but he tells me it's not all sun and roses, like, there is bad stuff as well, like.
Yeah, it's not that there's bad stuff. It's like it's tough, like, and that's what people don't realise. It is tough. It's not all like, you know, you're just going out for a game of ball every day and, you know, you get paid well. It's like school in a way at times, like, and you know, you got to be in here at that time and in here at this time. And
well, I think you know, I played non-league, I played amateur, and I played non-league, and I went to professional, and I remember going from non-league to professional, and then there's a directors and a board, and they're paying you money to perform. It's not even necessarily the manager, you know, and the players around you. You know, them directors are saying to the manager, how much are we paying him? Why ain't he scoring goals? And there's a pressure that comes down from the top to the manager, you know, through the team, through the players, and to you on the pitch, where you run out, you run the ball over the line, and you hear the fans go, oh, you're like, it's a pressure. And that, I remember saying once, I was living at home at the time, and I said to my mother, she woke me up to go training. I went, I don't want to go. She went, you're a professional footballer. What do you mean you don't want to go? You've been there. I know you've been there. It's just, but when you get past that, you get through that, you get over that, and things pick up, you score goals, things go well. You've forgot about them times, but there can be some dark times, and I know you've had some difficult times as well like that.
Yeah, no, I have, definitely. There is a dark side to football, and it's not all highs, and, you know, there are your lows. But again, as you said, sometimes a good game can just take it all away for a night or two, you know. That's it, chasing the dragon, like. But it's good now to see you flourishing, you know. I've kind of heard about you, obviously, since you're a young kid, and, you know, I spoke to Jason a few times, and yeah, it's great to see you go forward with your career. And again, hopefully you've taken enough advice off the two of us there now, just there, you know. And it's not all dark, you know. It's like there's a there's a light side as well. You might be in that big team, or winning that cup, or, you know, part of the Irish squad, and I hope you do get there, to be honest. Yeah, Yeah, so cheers for that, lads. It's good little catch up.
Thank you very much.
And all the best for your career, yeah?
Thanks very much.
And
Good to
all
see
the
you.
best, yes?
Thank you very
too.
much.